So when you shoot for the moon, you even if you miss, you'll at least land among the stars. I've got four All India ranks. One is plan, second is practice, third is probe. So you plan, you practice. When I say practice, let's say CA, you should also practice writing.
Hi everybody, this is Karthik here, a chartered accountant by profession. Today on our show we have CA Akarsh. CA Akarsh has been working in Deloitte for the last 9 years and he has 4 professional ranks with him in the course of CA, CS and CMA. So nice to have you on the show, Akarsh.
Thank you, Karthik. I'm almost convinced that I'm more impressive than I thought.
Yes.
Thanks for a lovely introduction.
So today we're going to talk about Akarsh's journey in Big 4 and his CA and a lot of other things. So first, Akarsh, I always start off with this question. Why did you take up CA?
Yeah, to be frank, I had maybe I'll introduce about my family first. So my dad is a chartered accountant, and my dad's brother is a chartered accountant, and his son, that's my cousin, is also a chartered accountant. So having grown in a family of CAs, I would say that I'm a bit privileged to at least have that awareness and how the life of a CA looks like, and hence I was more inclined towards or intrigued towards understanding how the CA work. So maybe if you ask me personally, I have 3 reasons why I feel I chose CA. So number one, I thought CAs have a freedom to employ people.
Okay.
So it's not easy in any other course, let's say engineering, etc. So that's quite impressive to me. And second reason is they have a freedom to start their entrepreneurship right after their course without taking any additional courses like MBA, etc. And third reason is more of a lifestyle where CA can choose various aspects of his own interest, given that we have vast subjects to cover. So we have that opportunity to choose. And these 3 reasons mainly made me interest in choosing CA.
So just to add on question for Akash, since you said in your family, your dad and few other people were CA. So let's say hypothetically, none of them were CAs. Would you have still chosen this profession?
Okay, I'd be lying if I said no.
Okay.
So the answer is yes. The reason being, at least I would say it's not because my family has got a lot of CAs I've chose CA. It's more about the awareness which I had and the interest I had towards the way they worked.
Okay.
So I would feel everyone should have in their, before they start their career or they choose the career, they should understand what all options they have. Awareness is more important than having someone in family who is a CA. And having said that, I also wouldn't say that having CA will not help. So my dad was helping me a lot in my preparation. So, and as a suggestion, you can also ask your friends to help you by asking some random questions so that they'll rejig your memory so that you can revise the topics impromptu.
Got it, Akash. So just to ask you another question, you've been a rank holder in all the courses and you cleared everything in the first attempt. So can you brief more about how many ranks have you got in all your courses?
I've got 4 All India ranks. So I've got All India 4th rank in CS CPT, then 2nd rank in CS Executive, then 3rd rank in CMF Inter, and 13th rank, I think 13th rank in Inter and 2nd rank in Final. So these are the 4 ranks which I've got in my courses. I've not completed CS yet, but I've wrote my CS Executive, Karthik. So having said that, this is all rosy story, which I think people know are more aware about. But I also like to share an anecdote that comes to my mind now that I think of these are the ranks I have achieved. So I want to share one of my personal story that would almost be like how Tare Zameen Par has been taken.
Okay.
So in my 7th class, when I wanted to change my school, so I actually failed one of my entrance tests, one of the school's entrance tests, and they were not okay admitting me into the school. However, with my dad's request, they specifically asked me, or they got me a seat in that school. And in 8th class, I did flunk my mathematics paper in half yearly exams.
Okay.
So I was not definitely a high class student in schooling. So I was really mediocre, or rather I can say that below mediocre student as well. So those are the turning points which I would say, because that made me think how society looks when you kind of not ace well in your studies. While that is not the right way to look at it, but I wanted to prove that that's not who I am, and that's been a turning point after that, and I was able to ace well, fortunately.
Akarsh, you've been very humble answering that. So before we get into your Big 4 journey, Akarsh, I want to know a little bit more about ranks, because many students, including myself, have dreamt about getting just 1 rank in CA course and you got 4 in all courses. So 2 questions over here. One is, what approach did you use during your student days to get a rank? Because many students would dream to get a rank. And getting a rank Leave alone that CA itself is a very stressful course. How did you handle your exam stress and mental health during these 3 to 4 years of preparation, one at a time? Yeah.
Sure. So let me answer the first question.
Yes.
So I firmly believe in three aspects. One, you should believe in yourself. So you should have a strong belief that you will be able to ace this course and even get a rank. And trust me, it's easy because I have failed in one of the subject in my schooling and I was able to secure this rank. So it's all in the mindset.
Okay.
And second, I would say anything beautiful which is created in the physical world would have been created twice. One in the workshop of the mind, and second in the physical world.
Okay.
So which means that you should have end in the mind. That's what you're going to do. So let's say you want to get a rank, aim for it. Think that you already got a rank, and see what you need to prepare to get a rank.
Okay.
So you should have end in your mind, and only then that will happen. Third, I would say, while you have the goals, so don't focus on the result. You only focus on the process. Yes. Now, maybe I'll debrief each of the points
Yes,
a bit.
yes.
So on the first point, when I said that you should believe in yourself, unless you believe in you, no one else is gonna believe, and nothing is gonna happen. So belief is definitely important. And going to the second point, when I said keep end in the mind, I'll take a simple example and which is really relevant, and I would urge all the students to consider. Right? Let's talk about your exams itself. So, as you all know, in CA courses, we'll have that 1 day gap to prepare the exam, right?
Okay.
So, what is the end object of your studies? You should be able to revise all the chapters and all the concepts in that 1 day right before the exam.
Correct.
That's the end object.
Exactly.
And I don't think anyone is keeping that in mind, or maybe I didn't keep that in mind in my inter, and hence I couldn't get a rank. So I also wanted to share that story. So what I realized and I learned is whenever you're studying for your exam, you keep that you should be able to revise the entire book in 1 day time. And how you do that, then you back work, right? So when you're studying in your first revision, let's say there are 10 topics in the subject or in the chapter, you have to cross off at least two in your first revision. When I say cross off, you should be confident enough to say out of these 10 topics, two topics I can just directly go to the exam and write.
Okay.
I don't even need to prepare it. And I'm sure there are such topics each one of us will have. And in your second revision, you increase the crossover questions or topics, right? So that will increase to 5. So at the end of third revision or the day before exam, you will have maybe 3 or 4 topics, which will cover the earlier topics also, which you can revise. So that way you will keep your mind light and be confident that you will be able to revise all the topics just the day before exam.
Listening to you, Akarsh, I just got a little stressed when you said you revise 2 to 3 times, where most students struggle to even finish the syllabus. And you ended by saying keeping your mind light. So I just want to again ask you, in this entire process, how do you stay calm or how do you handle the stress?
Yes. I would say again, definitely focus and maybe sincerity is something which I would say that those are the two things you should have in mind. When I say focus and sincerity, again, it doesn't matter how many hours you study. And I always believe that you should work hard smartly. It's not hard work or smart work. You should work hard smartly. It means you have to put your number of hours, even if it's 1 hour, you have to put it in a smarter way. Right?
Got it.
So for that, you should have that focus and sincerity.
Got it.
And why I say focus, only with laser sharp focus, you'll be able to cover wide.
Got it. So when you're talking about focus, Akash, I just want to ask you, since you're talking about focus and being determined, I think this comes with a lot of sacrifices to be where you are here.
Definitely.
So can you dwell upon what are the things you sacrificed in your professional career? Maybe a few things you would like to share.
Yes, definitely. So I would say there are a lot of small sacrifices which were hitting me hard at that point in time, but I have no regrets now having
Yes,
achieved
exactly.
whatever it is. So maybe I'll have to share one story that I had my close cousin's engagement which I couldn't attend. So like that, there are a lot of small instances or incidents which I feel very bad that I couldn't attend while I was able to make it out for missing that event. So there will be small sacrifices which you will have to make to achieve anything big. So I think that is something which you should accept. And while it may affect you mentally, so you should have your pillars who can support. So my pillar who supported me is my family. So they were able to guide me through how to handle these emotions, how you can focus.
Got it.
They were able to take all the work which I'm supposed to do on their heads, and they were able to give that time to me. So if say your it can be either your parents or friends or teachers, mentors, or any counselors as well.
So good support system is what will help you during this journey.
Definitely.
So all of that support system and sacrifices you made has put you into Big Four. So now let's get into Big Four, Akarsh. You've been in Big Four as an article for 3 years, then in audit and then into task. Let's go in the same chronological order. Doing articleship in Big Four is a dream for so many students, and you lived that dream. Getting into Big Four is hard. So would you like to share upon the interview process in Big Four, what students have to go through and what students watching should prepare to be ready to handle this?
Yes, sure. So I will maybe divide into two questions. One, what is the interview process?
Perfect.
And second, is it right to go into Big Four?
Perfect.
And whether everyone will get that opportunity.
Yes.
Right. So maybe the first one, the interview process it includes 5-step process.
Okay.
One, you will have to give an aptitude assessment.
Okay.
And second, you will have to attend a technical interview.
Okay.
And then group discussion, then HR interview, and then partner interview.
5 rounds of interview.
Well, it may sound huge, but I think everyone has to go through that process. So maybe one tip in each of it is, let's say in your aptitude test, it's more of how you think. So the question, you need not prepare specifically, but just have the clarity of thought on how you're answering, what you're answering, and what should be the answer. And I think at least when I attended, they had one 5-minute conversation. It's gonna be they'll assign a topic and you'll have to talk about it for 5 minutes.
Okay.
So even before we get into the actual interview, in-person interviews, this happens via telephonic conversation.
Talk about yourself or
Not
talk
about myself. So it's about they'll give a topic
and talk about that topic.
Yes, let's say I think as far as I remember, the topic which has come to me was, let's say you were in a town which is flooded with the water and rain. So how would you react and how you communicate to?
Okay, for 5 minutes to talk about topics given suddenly.
Exactly.
So everybody watching here.
Topic.
So let's say everybody watching here, I will talk about the same topic. Are you guys ready to talk about that right now? That's one thing you can assess yourself at. Yes.
Yes. And second round is basically the technical interview.
Okay.
I would say definitely 2 tips which you should keep in mind. One is confidence.
Okay.
So whatever you tell, you speak, if you believe it is right, you tell confidently.
Got it.
And if you don't know, tell confidently that you don't know and you will prepare and get back to them.
Okay, being honest in these interviews matters a lot.
Exactly. Because the interview is not about how sound your technical knowledge is, rather than maybe I would say 20% weightage is to technical knowledge.
Okay.
And 80% is to how you're handling the pressure, how you answer the question, what is your clarity of thought. Let's say if you're not clear, you say that area I'm not clear, I can prepare and get back to you.
Got it.
Whatever you're clear, you tell them honestly.
That honesty matters.
Yes. Well, that is confident. Second, it's a definite question which anyone will ask in your career, if not in articleship, anywhere else in your later stages of the career, is tell about yourself. Right. Yeah. And that's a very important and known question before interview. So if say someone is asking you to talk about yourself for 5 minutes, you should be able to talk. Unless you talk about yourself, no one is gonna support you. Right?
That makes a lot of sense. Like you should be able to talk about yourself at least for 5 minutes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Because at the end of the day, it's all about selling. Right?
Exactly. I mean, thank you, Akarsh. And you're also about to say about who should join Big Four articles and what if you don't get. Yeah.
Correct. And there's a myth that only when you get into Big Four, you will be able to ace well in your career. And I would say that that's a myth, because I personally recruited people who are non-Big Fours and who did well in their articleship, which is also a reflection of their hard work, and have got into Big Four and aced well.
Got it.
And in fact, various partners whom I interact with are also not necessarily from Big Four articleship firms.
Got
so, given that, just be mindful of the fact that the opportunities in Big Four are limited, right? So we should be able to accept a situation even if we don't get into Big Four. That's completely fine. I would urge everyone to learn about work ethic. See, what is different between a Big Four and non-Big Four, at least with the limited knowledge I have, is basically the work ethic.
Correct.
It's not about the department or technical knowledge, etc. It's all there in all the firms, because at the end of the day, we work with CAs.
True.
So it's about work ethic, how rigorously they review, how rigorously they keep on their commitments. Let's say, let it be a timeline which they communicated or they agreed to the client, or how you handle a situation where client is bombarding you.
Got it.
Or where your team is not working to help you up. So this is the work ethic which you should all look for in any firm.
That character that you build as a person in this professional field.
Absolutely.
So another common myth, Akarsh, since we're talking about interview process, is many people feel that you can get into Big Fours if you have a referral. How true is that, or how helpful is it for your Big Four
Yes.
interviews?
So I would say it's not definitely required. So let's say in my batch we were like 6 articles who got recruited, and only 2 of them were having actually referral.
Okay.
Right. So other 4 didn't have any.
It was just their
referrals.
own self
Yes,
performance.
it's more about how you perform in your interview. Be confident, be clear on what you know, what you don't know, and ask for feedback in the interview. Ask how you have performed, what you can improve. So all this will make a lasting impression.
I mean, thank you, Akarsh. I hope that helps students. Now, today's generation, Akarsh, including most people I know, they work in a company only for 1 year, 2 years, or 3 years, and they jump. But you've been in Deloitte for last 9 years, including your articleship. Only thing you moved is you moved from Audit to a team called TAS.
Right.
So I want to talk a little bit about this team called TAS. It's full form Transaction Advisory Services. Many students or professionals don't even know this team exists until they qualify. So it would be great for someone who's an associate director at TAS Deloitte to talk more about what this team does and who should pick this team.
Yes. So specifically, I maybe a bit of background. I started my articleship in audit, and then I joined audit. And the reason is basically I like audit, and second reason is I didn't know about any other departments which were in Deloitte or the option which I had outside Deloitte. So that's an awareness gap which I had initially. Now with the technology, with a lot of mentoring happening and good teachers available, so definitely I would recommend students that they should be aware of what all are there and then choose their options wisely.
Got it.
Now, a bit of task is, to put it simply, let's say in a transaction, when I say transaction, if a company is acquiring another company, company A is acquiring company B, now company A will want to know about what happened in company B in greater detail. So that's where we come in. So company A will appoint a consultant, it can be Big 4, non-Big 4, etc., to understand whether it is worth investing in company B. So that's what is the problem which we are all trying to solve for. Given that the investments will be in crores, right? So it will be 100, 200, 1,000 crores.
Some example you could share of some company for them to understand.
Yeah, let's say for an example, an instance, the recent example, right? So the Zomato has acquired ticketing business of Paytm.
Yes, exactly. Just few days back. Yeah.
Yes. So it means that Zomato, of course, both are not even related companies, and Zomato
Correct.
will not even have idea of what are the processes, accounting, and whether there are any issues in the way they are moving, both from accounting or process perspective and business perspective as well. Let's say, are they focusing on a marginable or margin yielding business, etc., or not? So then they'll appoint a consultant to do a in detail greater diligence or do a diligence in greater depth on Paytm ticketing wing, and then give a answer as to whether it is worth investing, or if it is invested, what are the changes which needs to be kept in mind.
So I think we'd say in simple terms, it's like, let's say I want to buy a bike, I appoint a mechanic to see if I can actually buy it. So this at a larger scale, at a company level, you guys decide if you can invest here.
Yes. While we'll not explicitly call, but that's something which is expected from investors.
Got it.
Yes.
So since we're talking about tasks, maybe if you're comfortable sharing, could you share one deal or any deal which is publicly available where you guys worked and it was an interesting project for you?
While there are many deals which are announced, so maybe I'll not be able to say where I worked or Deloitte worked.
Yes, of course.
So maybe there's a deal which was actually called off because of the diligence report given by Deloitte.
Got it. Okay.
Right. So not only Deloitte, but any diligence report, investors rely a lot on the diligence report and the issues coming out of the diligence report. That's where I could see the impact which we can make.
Got it.
And in fact, based on our report, they have called off the investment. And eventually the company which is going to get investment have shut down because their business was not doing well.
I mean, that's quality work done by you, Akarsh.
Yeah, the entire team and Deloitte. Yes.
So coming to one hot question, Akarsh, which many students ask is, sir, after I clear CA, how much of salary I can expect? Of course, I don't want you to share how much you earn, but just a ballpark figure, let's keep it like two-fold questions. How much can a fresher expect, approximate range? And let's say somebody with 5-10 years of experience, how high can it go, ballpark?
Sure. So on how much a CA can expect after clearing exams, so at least in Big 4s, and I'm sure even in industries are paying well these days, starting salary can be 7 lakhs and it can go up to 12-13 lakhs depending on the industry or the department which you choose. Okay. So that's about the starting salary which a CA can expect. And again, it all depends on how well you performed and how well you have articulated about yourself in the interview. So it all boils down to that interview aspect. And second question, what about a person who worked for, let's say, 10 years
Yeah.
or 7 years, etc. in Big 4 especially. So it again depends on the department which they are in. They can expect somewhere above 35,
40 lakhs per annum.
itself.
Perfect.
Yes.
Is there a scope? I've heard this. If you clear CA final in the first attempt with a rank, your first job itself could get you somewhere between 20 to 30 lakhs per annum. Is this true? I've heard from people.
So while I have friends who have cleared CA with rank, CA final with rank, but I'm actually not sure about their pay. So
Okay.
yeah, I may not be able to answer.
Got it, Akarsh. So thank you for sharing insights about what you can earn. Most students would like to know about that. So Akarsh, we've been having a very engaging conversation. Before I let you go, I just have a few more questions. Most people today, after they work in a company for 3 to 4 years, jump to other companies. That's been the trend. But you've been with Deloitte for the last 9 years. Any reason why you've been stuck with the same firm for such a long time? What's connecting you with the company?
Okay, I wouldn't say stuck because it's a choice.
Exactly, yes.
So maybe I would say 3 reasons why people generally move, right? So one is passion. Their passion is not towards the work they are doing. And second is pay.
Okay.
Third is people.
Okay.
Right. So one, in terms of passion, I'm aligned to what I'm doing, and I'm clear that whatever I'm doing is something which I'm interested in even in future. So there I don't see changing Big 4 will solve a problem because I don't have a problem in terms of passion. Second is in relation to pay. So I firmly believe a person should consider changing to another company if the reason is going to be pay alone, then it better be also coupled with the passion.
Okay.
Right? Because if you are passionate about your work, your pay will get compensated eventually in a longer horizon. So it will all match. So you move from A Big 4 to B Big 4, it doesn't matter. And even from A Big 4 to industry which is doing the same business, it doesn't matter. In long run, it will all match for sure. And in fact, it may be actually better than what you would be earning by jumping the company. So third, if it's people, of course, it will also lead to a mental stress, and definitely you can consider that as an option of changing the company. So till now, touch wood, nothing has happened.
Yes.
So I'm well working here.
We're going to talk a little more about Big 4. I've been in Deloitte for 2 years, and then it's been 6 years since I left. One of the great things I learned when I was in Deloitte was a technology adoption Deloitte did, where these Big 4s are always a step ahead in terms of technology adoption. So we'd like to know from you that AI is a trending topic going on across the world. So how much of AI is going to impact our lives being CAs, and being CA students, how much of AI should they learn to stay in the game?
Okay. Good question actually. So I believe that people will get paid for how they think in long run.
Okay.
And how they think and how they decide, or how many right decisions they have taken.
Okay.
So it's not about number of hours you have put in and how you have worked, but it's all about what is your thinking capability. So are you able to take right decisions? That's what everyone should keep in mind when choosing their career path or even working in any career path in the longer run.
Okay.
Right. So having said that, it means with AI, it is actually a blessing that you will be able to do all tasks which can be automated or which can be remembered by the system rather than a human. You should be able to leverage the power of AI and execute it in your work as well. Having said that, yes, while Big 4s have the technological advantage to adopt things faster, even personally, I would say people at Big 4 are being encouraged to use AI even personally, so that their work will get done faster.
Got it.
So I would say there's a lot of plenty of opportunity, because CA is now more of thinking rather than remembering and executing. While that is still there, but thinking is where you will get paid for and what you will get paid for. So focus on sharpening your thinking ability and use AI and other tools to enable or sharpen your thinking ability.
Yeah, I think it's important we all get used to AI and start using it. So Akarsh, I want to ask a very important question to you. During my study days, I wanted to get a rank, but I couldn't get it. But fortunately, I cleared in the first attempt. Many students today, when I see, they don't even dream of a rank. They just want to pass. You were someone who ended up with 4 ranks. So I would like to know, what was your mindset during studying that I want to get a rank, and what was the motivation that drove you to get a rank? Okay.
So when you shoot for the moon, even if you miss, you will at least land among the stars.
Okay.
So that's something which inspired me.
Yes.
So that's the main thing which I had in my mind. So I'll aim for the rank, as I said earlier. So the end is to get a rank, and then change my process so that I'll get to the destination.
Got
So
it.
while I say this, there's one mistake which I would definitely like to say and which everyone has to keep in mind is that while I got a rank in CA CPT, I missed it in CA Inter. And the reason being I was more focused on my destination. So I was not able to enjoy the process.
Okay.
So the pressure of me getting rank, people were expecting me to ace well, all of that is something which I have taken on my head. So which didn't really help well. So that's something which I would say. So let's say you will plan to get a rank and accordingly strategize your plan of number of hours, what you want to study, all of that. And while you do that, you focus more on process rather than the end result. So
Got
your
it.
process should be so strong that the end result should speak for
Got
itself.
it. The same thing we spoke about. The process is more important than the result.
Yes.
And if the process is good and you're consistent with it, you get your results.
Correct. Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you, Akarsh. It's been a pleasure to have you here. Before we end, one last question. You have tons of experience and we have a lot of upcoming students and upcoming CAs who are watching us. So any experiences from your life, learnings that you want to share with them?
Yes. Two. One is that you don't be afraid of doing anything, right? So people achieved great things when others spoke or others thought that they are crazy. So don't even be afraid to do anything which you want to do. Second, maybe more related to CA and in fact works well in your career as well. I would again recollect a 3 P's principle. One is plan, second is practice, third is probe. So you plan, you practice. When I say practice, let's say CA, you should also practice writing, right? So you should say the exam is at 2 to 5 and you will have to write for 3 hours in that time. So that's something which you will have to plan and practice. And probe is something where you will have to evaluate. So where do you stand currently? So you will have to complete, let's say 10 chapters. Where do you stand today and how much time do you have? You have to continuously probe yourself, only then you will be able to move forward.
Yeah. Thank you, Akarsh, and I hope it's been a great learning for students. If you have more questions that you want to ask Akarsh, put them down in the comments and Akarsh will come and reply to you guys. So
Sure.
Thank you so much, Akarsh.
Thank you so much, Karthik. All the very best.
Thank you.